Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and recently evidence unraveled by the Center for Responsive Politics showed that the George Soros and Robert Soros owned investment management firm Soros Fund Management was funding anti-Trump Republicans Paul Ryan, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, and John Kasich. These candidates received $36,800 in funds. This doesn't even include the campaign committees or super PACs, which received tens of thousands of dollars as well, in some cases more. Isn't it interesting that those receiving money from the firm are some of the most openly globalist neocon war hawks in all of Washington? They're an excellent example of the left-right paradigm as it exists. The connection between the left and the right puppeted by the same globalist elites in order to unveil their ultimate endgame under the guise of opposing viewpoints. These politicians were the ones attempting to send Republican votes to Hillary Clinton, and I'm about to show you some pretty treasonous evidence of possible further work they're doing with Soros. Firstly, though, I must mention, George Soros has been funding violent socialist revolutions that he's been funding through the Open Society Foundation. Things like Black Lives Matter, anti-Trump riots, SJW rallies. Money was sent towards the Women's March on Washington. Busfuls of protesters were paid and brought in from other states, including at the RNC. Hillary Clinton received massive quantities of money from Soros, and Soros even mapped out her foreign policy according to WikiLeaks emails. Soros also funded the Panama Papers leak, which selectively attacked Russians and right-wing businessmen across the planet for hiding their hard-earned money from government theft, only to push an international tax agenda at the United Nations, which we predicted months before it happened here at WHAM. Soros is also attempting to get the UN to regulate the internet in favor of the Open Society Foundation, following the internet's transfer to ICANN under regulatory control of the United Nations. And most dangerously, in my opinion, is that George Soros has been funding Nazis in the Ukraine and pushing destabilization. He seems to want nothing more than a world war. Maybe it'll bring him back to his childhood collecting the clothing and property of Jews thrown in camps, which he claimed was a great experience he'd repeat if he could. Now let's connect this back to the initial breaking news I previously mentioned. Recently, John McCain and Lindsey Graham went to the Ukraine to counsel the violent resistance against Russia. Graham made the following treasonous speech. Check it out.
I admire the fact that you will fight for your homeland. Your fight is our fight. 2017 will be the year of offense. All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
Ми всі повернемося до Вашингтону і ми будемо відстоювати санкції проти Росії.
Enough of a Russian aggression.
Now that was just from last month. If he's not asking for a violent assault on Russia, then I don't know what he's talking about. The time for offense? George Soros would be proud. Why are these pieces of trash pretending to represent the views of the entire country and attempting to further aggress against Russia in order to put us all at an increased risk of war? Could it just be to create fear? Or is it a way for them to create global compliance to an international order under the threat of international war? This isn't the first time these morons have done such a thing. John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and Marco Rubio went and met with ISIS members and Muslim Brotherhood members several years ago, waving flags with big smiles. Of course, the ISIS members were not yet members of the disgusting group of mass murderers, but they were openly Islamic extremists. Gee, sure reminds me of something. Kinda reminds me of Zbigniew Brzezinski arming Osama bin Laden against the Soviets in 1978 under Jimmy Carter. Or Reagan inviting the Taliban into the White House and arming and funding them. Or the US government arming and funding Iraq in order to go to war with Iran and cause one of the bloodiest wars this world has ever seen. Obama also funded and armed warlords, the Muslim Brotherhood, and ISIS while working with terrorist states like Saudi Arabia. These people are psychopathic globalists hell-bent on death and destruction, and I'm talking most of all about the politicians I've mentioned above. The Democrats and Republicans, at the request of the CFR, Trilateral Commission, and the International Centrally Planned Banking System, are causing violent uprisings, threats, fear, and destruction. This is absolute insanity and they need to be called out. Everything Soros touches turns to evil, and everything the government touches turns to shit, and that puts us all at risk. Dr. Ron Paul warned that false flags would likely be created to pull Trump into war, and it seems there's little doubt about this. The script was written long ago. I mean, Hillary Clinton supported shooting down Russian planes in Syria, and the global establishment are not happy with the possibility of peace. My message is simple. Stand up, people. Call them out. Thanks for watching, everyone. You can check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated. And of course, check our link in the description and the comments for Anarchapulco, where you can save 10% on your tickets to Anarchapulco by typing in promo code WAM. That's WAM. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.